also good means of protection. So my name is Masalovich Andrei Igorovich, or just Andrei. I represent a very small group of people who are involved in professional data mining. 25 years ago, this activity was called, it is called competitive intelligence. It's a Russian statement of English state. It's a data mining collection from closed sources in a framework of the ethical norms law to support the decision making by the top management of the commercial companies to increase their competitiveness. The key idea in this phrase is a competition of following the law and ethical norms. The fact is, well, the world exists and industrial espionage exists, and as long as Russia exists, we have about 40 different laws and regulations which limit the access to information. That's why competitive intelligence, the person who mines for the data, lives in a very narrow niche. On one side, he is pressed by the law, on the other side, he is pressed by the possible unethical behavior. So let's speak about laws. I will follow, well, because there are more than 40 laws and they all contradict to each other, so I will use only one law. There are 29.4 Federal Law of Russian Federation. Every person has the possibility for access of information which is not a state secret. State secret is defined by the decree of the President of Russian Federation. So if I've discovered something, this is mine. And it's the problem of the person who provided non-adequate level of protection of his information. The second one, non-ethicity. Let's think about those who improperly defend their information. So if I find something and it doesn't belong to me, maybe it's not ethical and it's bad, but if information was important for him and he didn't care about its adequate protection, then it means his security people are not real security people. So I will try to build my presentation in the following way. I will see, do my internet really works, and I will build my presentation the following way. Usually, presentation like that, they are built in a simple way. Here's the simple user, they search in this way, they find nothing, and this is a profi. They use some special tools, approaches, which speed up their work, and they find the following. Two subjects, but internet intelligence, there are three levels. Daily work, for example, check a person, check a company, check improper activities, fraud, financial sustainability, check non-ethical behavior or doubtful connections. This is a daily routine. It's a complex, it's dangerous, low-paid job. There is a field operative work. People who solve problems on the level of the company, periodically they find themselves in a situation when a top manager takes this information and this person becomes top manager of the department or vice president of the company, and then an interesting work begins on the level of the company, because data mining is not an objective, but it's providing strategic targets of the company, is preventing your company from leaks, discovery of leaks to competitors, with the possibility of using them. And there's another not really known level, the level of strategic analytics, strategic intelligence, and they solve other objectives which define the future of the company. For example, if you want to press the competitor out of a certain region to provide a victory in a certain group of competitors, enter this particular country or a region, and horizons are managed by quarters, years, and a person has to spend a lot of time working autonomously, and top manager is not just controlling his activity, but he cannot even properly set the objectives for the manager. But the level of payment is that 1 month of your work you can pay for 8 years of living in Bahamas, and it's an interesting job. And I will try to build my presentation in such a way. Every time I will show you 3 buttons. If you will, this button will be pressed by a normal person, and he will think that the work in the internet is a low-paid work. This button will be paid by the field officer. Everything is going to be fast. And this button will be pressed by a person who makes money on this. And I will show you where you can find money in this button. There will not be special buttons, but just different point of view. Let's try. Okay, let's pray that internet works. If you remember last year's presentation, I've continued on this particular example. I've shown it with the help of the hands of, well, if this phrase will be dialed by a regular user, Vladimir Zhirinovsky, the name of the guy. If you will dial it like that in a search engine by this, you have closed the world by 3 layers of non-transparent glass. The first is zero loyalty of the internet. You know from Osmanov's work that Twitter discussion is not more than 6 hours. The internet memory is not more than 24 hours. If yesterday somebody have thrown the cabbage into him, the first 150 references you will read about this cabbage flying into his head, and not how many cars and how many money, how much he has. The second layer is current events. The second non-transparent level is preferences of the search engine itself. Look here. Right now, well, previously engines, they've been fighting for 2 parameters, fullness and relevance. Right now, user preferences are the head corners, and pertinence, compliance to the objectives of the request. So the search engine is not searching for what you're searching, but what from his point of view you wanted to dial. For example, I'm interested in a song 740. I just dial 740, the name of the song. The search engine says 7 minus 40 is minus 33. I didn't ask him about that. Okay, there's a fairy tale which has the words the elephant in square. .25 square meters. One elephant in the square. I've been asking about specific fairy tale. The elephant in the square. Well, I have some political question. I have a question to Vladimir Vladimirovich Putin. Dear Vladimir Vladimirovich, why Putin? Why Putin? Oh my God. Let's assume. It's some kind of a Google. Why Medvedev? Why Medvedev? Okay. Why Lenin? Why Lenin is a mushroom? Okay. Why me? That's not me. That's not me, definitely. They're already mixing me with somebody else. So the second level of non-transparency is algorithm of pertinence inbuilt in a search. It's based on the distribution, big numbers, and truthfully, as said as it may seem, on big numbers. The question is why me in the beginning is a question, why am I such a stupid woman? And layer number 3 of non-transparent glass is the image of the object. Vladimir Wolfovich is a very tough, very smart politician, and everything you see him is just the clownship. He knows what he wants to achieve, how he will achieve it, and behind his image, he follows his image, definitely. Each one of you is confident that Vladimir Wolfovich said a phrase, my father is a lawyer, my mother is Russian. Who knows about this interview? And this phrase was never stated, but he liked how journalists have mixed it up, and he always repeats it. And let's see, this phrase was never in his interview. And even Vladimir Wolfovich in mass perception is related with this phrase. Okay, let's see how the field worker searches. Well, I'm interested in Vladimir Wolfovich as a person. Why did this phrase was given to me? Why this objective was given to me as field worker? You never check companies. You never check people just like that. You always relate it to some specific argument. You're interested in his connections or in some fraud or his background or his financial unsustainability or availability of real estate in foreign countries. So there's something which specifically you want to find. And this something in result will lead you to the area where you can find information you need. In a given case, a field officer, well, I need actual information, cars, accounts, real estate, profits, addresses. Where can you find it? A long time ago, I have noticed that there's, well, a lot of serious people in their cities or, well, people who are related to criminals or to the power. So I have noticed that people like that, usually they have tested themselves as some candidates to be deputies of some parliaments in some regions. And at the same time, they have been registered on election sites because the information which they share is not a state secret, so it doesn't have adequate protection for this information. On the level of state companies, there is nothing such thing as a good level of protection. So the information will not be openly published, but it will be published somewhere. That's one thing. Another, the election committees, they work in limited time frames. They are in a hurry. They deliver certain information in recent days, in recent hours, and if they will not receive the application from you, you will go to the court, and the application has to follow a certain form. And at this moment of time, when something like this happens with you, you don't think about security, and they don't think about security. So in their servers, you can find a lot of significant information. And if you're speaking about Vladimir Wolfovich, it's LDPR. LDPR is well known that its leaders are put in not only Moscow, but also regional levels of parliaments, and you don't have to break well-protected central server of election committee servers. You should look at servers and not well-protected servers without breaking anything. I remember that last time I was really saved by a situation. There was a hole in a server in Voronezh. I remember that information about this type of data about different election candidates are stored in open source tables, spreadsheets. Okay, let's stop worrying the Google. Let's ask the following specific question. I dial site isbercom.ru, search all the sites of the second level, serving domain name, second level domain name, isbercom.ru, XLS file types, search for Excel file types. I will dial Zhirinovsky. And let's say Voronezh, to check the Voronezh site. That I will find the Voronezh site. Well, I have found something. Let's see. Remote copy. I found certain spreadsheet. Yes, I see Vladimir Wolfovich Zhirinovsky, and I see different fields in it. Field with his account numbers. Here it is, object number 4 by the level of protection. Higher than it in Russian hierarchy, there are 3 other objects from the point of view of level of seriousness and defense, starting from President of Russia. Guess. Okay. So here are his bank accounts. In front of your eyes, you see direct violation of election law. And on the screen, I have the information which is listed as information which cannot be published in free access. Also, it's a violation of Federal Law 152 and other amendments thereof about private data protection. And number 3, this is indirect violation of 2 articles about banking secret. No direct violation, because according to articles, subject is a bank. Bank has nothing to do with it. The person has opened his bank accounts himself. He named them, and Isbercom have violated this law. So you see, the previous seminar and similar, I've been building on these examples. That's how it's done by regular people, and this is how it's done by internet intelligent person, and with a very brief commands. And let's see how people earn money and things like that. Let's imagine that you have 7,000 rubles, and you understand that something strange happens with you. You go to the store next door and buy 2 terabyte disk, because things that I will show you, I already have 3 terabytes of this information. I catch a lot of good fish doing that. So in your hands, you already have 2 terabyte disk, hard drive. Let's fill it. So the person who wants to connect his life and his wallet with the internet intelligence will dial a very simple command. You understand that in your hands you have received not just an interesting information about some interesting person, but in your hands you have the source from this information. You have found a good fishy place where you can fish until the end of your life. Let's try to fish. So I would like to find out how much of these Excel files on the Isbercom internet site. Let's guess. Several thousand. 24,000. So in my hands, I have 2 terabyte disk, hard disk, and I have 24,000 files available, which contain home addresses, garages, real estate, family composition, internet numbers, bank numbers of people who will become governors, assistants of the government's ministers, assistants to ministers, the heads of big companies. They will rule the financial flows in regions. In 2-3 years, believe me, their information will cost a lot, and it will be hidden, it will be cleaned, and some people will look for it. But right now, it's a free available information. But believe me, nobody have tested these 24,000 files right now. You never try to store them while they're available. You said, well, this is good, but this is kind of a bird in the sky, and you don't want to wait for 3 years for this information. But maybe there's something short-term which you can monetize today. Let's try. So I need some object, and believe me, all the examples which I'm showing you are not related to examples. They're related to checks. I don't care which company I should show, or which special service, or which leader of IT market I should use for it. But if you will think that some example is not ethical, just tell me. For example, the company is related to you, or the person is your friend, or is it your partner? If I'm showing how to enter the database of Mossad and you are a hidden agent, lift your hand and say that I'm from Mossad, and I will change this example. Well, some examples will not work because it's a living internet, and something will change today, but as a rule, things like that, they do work. So I need some person with a strange name. It doesn't matter who. I see some data about him, but if I'm really in internet intelligence, the operative specialist will dial in. It's better to look for the person in Excel spreadsheets, because if you find something about him in Excel, it's much better than in non in Excel. Well, you see some information in Excel. I don't need a person, I just need an example, a tool. So what kind of a spreadsheet? Business systems, banks. Interesting spreadsheet. Look here. Bank systems, people, mobile phones, addresses, emails, mobile phones. Wonderful. Good spreadsheet. And you understand what I'm speaking about. So if right now there will be person number 3 who wants to make money on this, he will lift his hands and he will see that this joy happens on some interesting site. Let's see what kind of a site is this. Let's open Explorer. Everything happens safemail.com, something like that. Letters of pro-Kremlin actors discovered by .ru Anonymous. There was a .ru Anonymous law security group, and when some people were arrested, they have disappeared, and the group Anonymous came to the stage. The most professional wing is located in the United States. The loudest one is in Italy, and there's a Russian branch, hackers from the Anonymous group, which solve some political objectives in Russia. And you see they have solved something, and you have found some of their storages. Well, it is interesting for me. What kind of a storage is this? So I'm trying to see how many files these anonymous guys have discovered before it's closed. So I think this resource will not survive a lot, but while it's still alive, it's interesting to me. Hello. So 4,800 Excel spreadsheets. So we have 2 terabyte disk. It's not filled yet. We have 4,800 files downloaded. What kind of files are these? Very curious files. The list of trolls which organize anti-legal activities in some forums with political discussions with their mobile phones and prices. These are lists of people who collect people to bosses for some illegal activities, lists of people who collect people for meetings, for the power with their mobile phones, and price lists. This is very interesting information, interesting today, yesterday, May 6th, when the violations happened in the streets. So you have found information about the existence of which it's even strange to think about its existence in the internet. Nevertheless, the gap between the real level of security or non-security, while we're speaking in these walls, it's very big. This gap is very big. So let's begin with the simplest thing. I will show you how the person who hunts for your information, what he is looking for. First, when you want to protect yourself, you use HTTPS protocol, right? Right. Thinking that it increases the level of security, but HTTPS protocol has a meaning when you really exchange certificates with a trusted site. The signed HTTPS makes no sense because nobody knows who you communicate with. If I'm not a trusted partner, if I have found HTTPS, I found a place which is most interesting to you, something that you want to protect. If everything is okay with you, I will not be able to find HTTPS on your side. Okay, let's see. Okay, Microsoft. What do we find on the Microsoft.com site? 55 million documents. Too long to watch. 2 million, better. Okay, let's look. To protect the document, the encryption system is used, Microsoft Confidential. Will I find something? $17,000 documents. In order for you not to think that I'm going against some country, okay, let's take some governmental site of one great country. Almost 3,000 documents. Special importance. Well, in the criminal group, with the bad intent. All right, all right. No, no, no. I was pressed to do this. I was made to do this. Okay, one moment without jokes. Honest example. I don't care who should be. I was solving another objective. I was not caught. How the regular insurance company looks like. Well, let's do I can take any insurance company or bank or whatever. That's how it looks to the regular user. Well, while we're speaking about HTTPS, let's see. Maybe do they have HTTPS something? Just check it for HTTPS. Yeah, they do have it. Pay attention. If my hand will shake, and my hands are shaking right now, don't you believe? Because you react non-adequately. You're pushing me to illegal activities. If I will press this green button, this is Article 13 by the Code of the Administrative Violations, so I'm not going to move forward. Okay, let's show what's going to be the result of all of this. Realistically speaking, because it's the end of the working day, we will drink beer. 2 minutes without jokes. I will show you another serious example, and then you will make jokes. will we be able to find element of critical infrastructure of a great country, right? Russian railroad. Let's remember the Lenin. To provide the victory of a revolution, one has to take over bank, railroad station, and radio station. Because I don't want to take over three of them, let's unite all of them. What is the bank, rail station? It's a central communication point of Russian railroad. CSS, RGD. Don't they have secure protocols out there? Yes, they do. I don't really know. Will I see it in tops? Let's see. So, central communication office, you have got the access to the telecommunication reference system, intelligence system, arms, consoles, rails. 3 years ago, I've made a training for security specialists in railroad company, in the Russian railroad. They did take some measures, but unfortunately, well, like Japanese says, you have everything here in the asshole in Russia. Yes, you know, in Russia we still have everything in the same place, in the asshole. Real level of security of your data is below the asshole, you know, I would say. It's truth. It's the truth. I'm showing you the example which I've discovered at my work, and by work, it couldn't take a couple of seconds. It took a day, half a day, and I have more than 700 different ways of intelligence for finding the data without breaking into anything, without breaking anything. Sometimes it takes a lot of time, and of course I try to save my time. There are certain scanners which do most of the work. You know, one of these scanners, X-Patrol. There are other scanners. I use WebBase. WebBees. Web Patrol, it's an expensive scanner. How much WebBees costs? Okay, let's do it in the following way. On the basis of the results, in Magnitogorsk forum on the IT security, there was a problem. One guy have written a note in a blog that they are discussing some banking security issues on the banking security forum. And he shown the holes that he have discovered, but it was not a simple guy. He, a former employee of Positive Technologies, and screenshots. He used a very expensive scanner and have scanned WebBees, and he found only 8 holes out of 9. How much WebBees costs? 100 rubles. 100 rubles. Do you have 100 rubles? Check your resources. Do you have your resources for these holes? So let's check on. So the information is really not protected, weakly protected. That's how it is protected. So if you are searching for information, sometimes, in order for you to understand, the competitive intelligence doesn't exist. It's in the framework of ethical norms. If the person was trained to be in a stealth mode and then suddenly he knows how to collect the evidence, he knows what are demasking principles, he knows which scanners or parsers can be used and things will be used against him, he will never think about laws of which country he is breaking by doing that. That's why, in order, well, my time is already over. I was asked to show you how to get to the secret and see my secret information, and while talking to you, I've discovered how to do it, because I don't want to break the state secrets, but let's solve this problem without breaking the law. Okay, let's do that. Sorry. So, example from life. I was holding a seminar in Donetsk for a big steel company, And in an open blog, somebody writes to me, "Thank you very much. It is so cool, very interesting tools. He discovered something. I discovered something about my competitors. But then I've looked at state structures of Ukraine. Maybe state secrets are better protected in Ukraine than in Russia." Well, I tried to look into it. I thought that, well, we're working in the open internet, and my writing is being read by many people. I'm writing to them, I would like to disappoint you. In your Ukraine, state secrets should not be protected or broken. In Ukraine, state secrets, you can buy them simply for small money. He says, "Well, you're lying to me." I say, "Well, let's do it simply like that." Just a moment. Well, you asked me how the state secrets can be discovered. I'll show you how the most secret documents can be cut and how the internet store could be broken in, and then we'll finish on that. Well, this boy writes to me, "I haven't discovered anything on public structures portals." I say, "Well, in Ukraine you don't have to break public structures sites. You just can simply buy this information. How is it possible?" I say, "Well, let's see. In Russia we have Kommersant, Garant, and other companies which collect legal documents and other public structures documents. You have also, you call Liga law. Okay, I open Liga Zakon. I select search for documents of state security. It's called Служба безпеки of Ukraine. I open the documents. I open that. I need only their decrees. I see the decrees. I select that I need decrees with secrecy in Ukraine. And I say, well, let's say I'm interested in this particular statement. I press the button, and there's a statement. Access to the full text, 6 hryvnias for registered users, 2 hryvnias for foreign spy with the access, 6 hryvnias. Well, I have not really translated. For registered citizens of Ukraine, 3 hryvnias. With the anonymous approach, 6 hryvnias. I say 6 hryvnias, less than $1. Don't worry, let's pay 6 hryvnias, and I receive a document from the security department called high security document. I say, let's specify the experiment. Let's be more precise in this experiment. Nuclear energy department in Ukraine. Pay another 6 hryvnias. That's it. So when you speak about state secret, it's not always that you have to break anything. There are methods. So how the really secret documents are protected? Well, I will make another example, 2 examples. Okay. And then I will finish. Okay. Really secret. 3 years ago, in the summer, there was an incident. International agreement about mutual control over the nuclear weaponry, defense, and enriched plutonium, and due to the fault of American side, for 1 day, information which contains information about location of the storage facilities of military plutonium, because it's especially secret information, for 24 hours this information became available on the server, which has allowed external approach. It was not an open server, but good person, knowledgeable person, using its vulnerabilities could find this data. There was a scandal. FBI, CIA immediately have announced that they have investigated. Nothing was stolen, no external logs, nothing was stolen. But nevertheless, Obama gave personal apologies, and a journalist calls to me and he says, well, can you give a comment? Was there a leak or there wasn't a leak? I said, well, the nuclear coverage of the United States is an interest and a threat. There are people who go to work to increase our knowledge about the nuclear cover of the United States. From morning to night, they do that. So for these people, it's not hot, it's not cold from this leak. Once again, they will check everything that they know. And he said, well, this is a really secret information. How can it be in the internet? Nothing has been broken. I said, well, do you believe me? Let's see. given 24 hours and I will do it with my hands. And I started thinking, well, fortunately in the United States, they have formal term, national security complex. Secret objects of a federal level, for which it is described how to protect the physical security network has to be protected, how the double factor authentication is built, so everything is defined for them. So I look in these security complexes. Protection is great, security is great, there are ministry, security gate, business partners, first of all, scientific partners, no defense at all, and no interesting data, of course. And then I remember that in national security complexes, in addition to everything, they have their own infrastructure, their own fire squads, and their medical departments. If you remember the movie Mission Impossible, the whole movie is built on a fantastic episode. The fire squad machine goes into the CIA building. Of course, they have their own fire squad. And the fire squad is submitted to the fire squad department of the United States, even though they are together with the security complex. So I start digging in the server of the fire squad department of the United States, and in one of the states I find such an interesting document. Fire Commission of the state, after doing the planned check, investigation of the secret object of the federal level Y12 in Oak Ridge City, have discovered violation of security in hangar 2012. They store the storage of these nuclear components, and they don't have a fire extinguisher. And they have no fire extinguisher. In hangar 2995, they have these so many nuclear plutonium, and they don't have a component of extension cord. And the biggest violation in hangar 2720, where they have the concentration of nuclear plutonium, hangar has the wooden roof. It's a big problem. So in my hands, I find information with the top secrecy. I know that on the territory of this state, next to the city of Oak Ridge, they have secret storage for nuclear plutonium, B12 object, where the 9720 hangar, where they store military plutonium. You just have to make the geolocation. That's it. And you know, when you do something for 15 to 20 years, I work with the internet a lot of years, many years. So when you do something for many years, you get carried away. I launch Google, I open Google Maps, I dial it. Object Y12. Google says too many compliances. I say Y12, Oak Ridge City. It says too many compliances. I dial. Secret object of the federal level, Y12, next to the city of Oak Ridge. Google says, well, here it is. You asked me. Here it is. And look here, the Google button looks at the administrative building. But understand the Y12 object, it's this whole territory behind this fence. And at the previous slide, you have paid attention at this road mark. The hangar 9720 is this one. So I've made my own investigation. I've discovered that in here they have a security checkpoint. Here's the fence. Here's the road. From here, there's a direct vision to the street. 250 meters. Wooden ceiling is here. You know, take a grenade thrower. You just can approach on a jeep and just make a fire in this place. Well, I don't want to get over the... Can you listen to one more example? Of course, many examples. Well, I will check it once again. It's not so wide and fluffy. So let's check this example once again, and then I will show it to you once again. you see real internet store where they sell products for traders, analytical information. Well, many years of my life, I was understanding that business is moved by analytical technologies, financial flows, logistics, warehouses, forecasting, institutional modeling, risk assessment. I've been writing books about that. I've earned some money on this, and then I've discovered that business is moved by the same information war as a direct war, but indirect one. So, basically speaking, the adequate solution of any objective is related with a single parameter: delivering of the weapons to the front lines. If you have enough of information in your hands, if you have enough of information for decision making, you can solve this objective. If not, no analytics will help you. Nevertheless, I've been involved in studying deliveries of some analytical programs. So we enter internet store, real internet store. I showed, please don't repeat after me. So you need this particular product. Some product for traders, it costs you, how much it costs here on this site? $99. We were lucky today. $47. Oh, well, discount, and it says, here it is. Usually $99.95. Today it's $47. Then it says, if you want to buy it, press this button, and then you will see a form. You will have to fill it. You will introduce the data of your credit card through the protected channel system. Payment system will deliver to the acquirer bank. It will be confirmed. They will check it, and then $47 will be written off, and the product will be delivered to you. It's going to be, well, the link will be sent to you, and you will download this product. I didn't want to spend $47, but nevertheless, 6 hryvnias were already spent, right? But I did hear something. Well, it's not safe in the internet. There are some hackers who hunt for the information. I don't want to show data of my credit card. Let's do it in the other way. I would like to open you another secret. Computer screen is a rectangular. You never seen that. These dimensions were measured, and there are certain articles. People don't see the screen of the computer. People see 2 bright spots. If in 30 minutes you work with a certain site, then I will ask you to make a picture of this site. You will never draw it. You will draw a big triangle on the left side and small triangle on the right side of the screen. You can easily remember these are 2 places where Yandex has the advertising. So in memory, you don't have the whole screen, but 2 places of advertising Yandex blocks. But the most interesting on the screen happens not on the screen, but in the address line, because the address line willfully or unwillingly opens a structure of address space to you. The address space is being served by protocols. Okay, let's play with the protocols. How many years internet is? How old is the internet? 20, 30, 25? Global internet, I mean. 20, let's say 25 years, 25 years. How old is the FTP protocol? More than 40 years old. FTP protocol was invented for exchanging files between internal organizations. No remote data transfer, no protection, security, no file checks. Nothing was provided for the FTP protocol. Check it, check it. FTP protocol more than 40 years old. So FTP servers, they didn't provide not even the concept of security. So it is very interesting to look at the line, address line. I work with hundreds of sites through, in 1 hour of working with one site, by memory, I can restore the structure of the address link, because that's on which I make the money, not on what is open on the screen. So let's earn some money. I've been following this site. If I would follow it properly, I would enter the site of this internet store. I would find the proper product. I would see its brief description. I lifted my hands, and then I find that I'm on the page 86. On the page 86, it says, do you want details? I say, I want details. I get detailed description. I lift my hands, eyes, and from the page 86, I've transferred to the page 87, and it says, do you want to buy? I say, yes, I want to buy, and I find myself on this page 88. Oh my. So, what do? Let's check it. I dial page 89. Well, about wrong programmers, I did do a seminar for the internet stores, and in 10 stores, only 8 tools were working. In the web store number 9, these did work. I don't do it anymore because Well, it's broadcasted seminars, and we have a lot of listeners who are listening to the internet, and they check what I do. I see the silence, and then suddenly I hear, "Tuk, tuk, 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 tuk." I lift my hands. I've been showing some American, well, I'm afraid of doing it against Russian companies. They are offended. I've been showing on the American sites. I lift my hands. If I'm not mistaken, we are damaging economy of United States by $250,000. After this, I don't show it live. So, brief composition of previous 50 series. There's type of activities which is called data mining or competitive intelligence in the internet. I didn't show all my slides to you. I can show at least a second to the last one. Here it is. There's activity which is called data mining or competitive intelligence in the internet. What it can give you. First of all, 80% of these activities is done by automatization. We have scanners. We use web-based scanners, which make 200 scans for 100 rubles or 10,000 scans for 150 rubles, and there's a lot of them. A lot of vulnerabilities are discovered immediately. And they don't compete with Max Patrol. They find vulnerabilities which lead to the leaks of internal or confidential information, number one. So the scanning problem can be solved simply and easily. Number two, monitoring means, which you can find in the internet, and they search for what is not protected from what is interesting to you. And by the way, can you give me one more minute? I can show you how they work. Just one moment. Here's the portal of the Federal Anti-Monopoly Service, and they collect information about the property structure of different Russian companies, big companies, medium companies, small companies. Very interesting property structure. From the point of view of the company, this information is highly confidential. But for the state company, they don't have a state secret. They don't have a state secret for this information. So when this information finds itself in the hands of the state structure, commercial secret is not anymore a commercial secret. Well, it's understandable. It's not openly published, but let's see how well is it protected from within. I will launch my robot. I will launch my boat. I will enter the storage, which provides the results of scanning of this server without breaking. It doesn't break anything. Just look, can you find some information in this server? That's what it does. Let's see what it found. So server tells me in 3 previous days from the last data collection, it found information, and I put my arrow, and you see direct link to the storage inside of this server. Let's try to press it. Why have I selected from Gazprom regions this FKS group? Because it's Tula city, utilities, and President Medvedev was saying that utilities is a black hole of Russian budget. Well, utilities. To make the lamp lighting in a house, what should be done in order to put a lamp in a building? Well, they have 2 daughters, Foundation Capital, Foundation Heat and Power, in Bolshoi Cayman Island. So in order to put a lamp in Tula, money have to fly to big Cayman Islands. So this information, being in your company, should be adequately protected. It's strictly confidential information, but information is a flowing thing. If you read something, and I told you about Article 24 of the Constitution of Russian Federation about the state secret law, this is the only articles which protect information. All other ones, laws and legal acts and stack regulations, they have no relation to information at all. Try to read them and remember the basic definition. Informational security is protection of the information supporting its infrastructure from natural and artificial influences, natural and man-made and non-man-made. The key factor is the part of the phrase information and supporting its infrastructure. None of these laws, none of these legal documents is related to information. All of them are dedicated to supporting infrastructure, how to protect disk, how to protect channel, how to protect connection, how to protect authentication process, how to protect the man in the middle. The information is flowing. If your colleagues have it, your developers, your top managers, your partners have it, pre-contractual partners, cooperation, exhibition activities partners have it, and some of them don't even go under the law of the state secret, even working for the state secret companies. Some of your scientific partners, they don't even think about security. So the information flows, and hunt for this information requires the means of monitoring, and things that we can help you is by this means of monitoring. Well, for the good mood, let's giggle one last time. Let's look for something, the final example. I promise you. Let's look at the military database, arsenal. Beautiful military base. And I'd like to say that the United States military purchase is decentralized. In every state, they have their own military department which does the purchase. For Illinois, for example, this function is done by the Rock Island Arsenal base. Beautiful counter physical defense, good side defense. If you try to enter the site, you will not be permitted to enter the site, but there's nothing to do because it says they have won a tender and they've lost a football game against neighboring military ring. But then when they stop you, non-standard parser Windows 433 is being opened, and Pentagon Blue parser is opened and says, dear user, we have fixed that you have entered from this IP address, you have left this vector of demasking images, but we have to block you and you will not be able to pass on because you do improper steps. And then they describe to me which improper steps I'm doing. Why aren't they letting me to enter in? So protected object, protected portal, let's see what can be done by a bot, scanning bot, so-called penetration bot, pen bot, which follows interesting things on this portal, for example. And we'll try to solve the objectives, which how much is a payback, what payback in the Army of the United States of America. So I go to the storage where the bot collects the results of this search. The bot tells me, since the recent search, he has discovered on this server with the portal of 3 interesting documents. 2 he picked up because of the secrecy, and the second one because it has in the header the sales, weapon sales. Let's not walk in weapons. I don't want to deal with this American. Let's watch what kind of a contract is this. Some kind of a contract. Oh, here it is. American military in the state of Illinois, they purchased Hewlett-Packard DTN, retail price of this print $2,300. They buy it for $3,641. So what is the payback size in the Army of the United States? You see the difference? That's it. You know, they buy it for the minimal market price. It's much more clever. American military always buy on the open purchase with a minimal price from the supplier, but from the list that was announced of the trustworthy suppliers. So somewhere in February, they have this announcement that on the basis of tenders from number 1 to number 10, trusted suppliers are this, this, and this. That's it. Well, let's try to finish. Number one, there are monitoring tools which allows us to automate this work, number one, and tools of scanning which allows to protect yourself from these type of activities. These tools, well, the top-level security is built of these tools. This technology is called avalanche technology. There's a top level over it called Lavina Pulse. It's a technology of situational information of top management when the ownership cost is zero. You don't have to hold servers, you don't have to deploy software. Everything that servers finds, it's on your iPad screen. You can watch what is important was discovered, what important happened on your topics on the side of competitors, these people, these companies, these events where some leaks have happened, when some things, when some vulnerabilities were open. So scanners can be used separately. They are not expensive. Then, once or several times, you should do the audit of your own defense, of your own security. It makes sense. And in 4 years, when this service has been provided, I never have seen any message that there was no leaks. Even secret services are involved in this, and important state servants, they pay money, they protect a lot of information, and they know the value of information. But nevertheless, here's the conclusion. You will never find my signature under the statement no leaks. Of course there are. In order for this to work, you need to learn, and there are courses, 1-day, 2-day courses, 3-day, 8-day courses. Come, we'll teach you. It is done in the Academy of Informational Systems, 8-day cycle out of 3 seminars certified. So you will receive the certificate of state certificate for the additional professional vocational training. And I really recommend the activity. It makes sense because starting from a certain period, it makes you richer, it's paid from the first day, and it makes your life much more fun. So this hour, you could see it was fun, right? So thank you very much for your attention. No words to feel the sadness of saying goodbye to you. Once again, thank you very much to the person who made it possible, who gave this internet to us. We were never to say thanks to him privately, but life is not ending tomorrow. The main means of communication is the email, and mobile phone will also work. At least I will see your call. I don't always respond. I don't even know who calls me right now. So thank you very much.